In this video we're going to look at medicine before the year 1000 and look at the starting point for the course that you will be asked about. What position was the world in before this? People have always known how to look after themselves, whether it's when cavemen and prehistoric people used to do trepanning on the brain to relieve a blood clot, right up to the Romans and their bathhouse like this one in Bath, which was a huge public health issue. Archaeological evidence shows that some of these patients around the world survived. The Indus Valley civilization, for example, was well aware of the importance of clean running water and sewers. There was even a structure identified as a huge public bathhouse in Pakistan dating from around 2500 BC. Pharaohs in ancient Egypt had their court physicians, and we know about some of their medical practices from records recovered from tombs. The Greeks had places of healing, temples to gods, and the Romans had their bathhouses. Yet a lot of what we have in the year 1000 in Europe comes from the Arab world. The Dark Ages meant that a lot of post-Roman material was lost, and it was only such as writers like Avicenna here who played an important role in saving much of this lost knowledge. He translated lots of works from ancient Greek and Roman into Arabic, and this was eventually passed on to Western Europe. At this time, there is no doubt that Arabic medicine was much more advanced than Western Europe. Avicenna was one of the most celebrated philosophers and physicians in the early Islamic Empire. He wrote many texts on philosophers and physicians and a huge range of subjects beyond. 40 of his medical textbooks have survived, the most famous of which are the Book of Healing and the Canon of Medicine. These are both exceptionally important books, but the latter one especially is one of the most significant history books and medicine books ever. It was printed in Europe at least 60 times between 1516 and 1574, and the canon remained a major authority for medical students in both the Islamic and the European world well into the 1700s. Another Arab doctor, Rhazes, who lived from AD 860 to 932, wrote the first authentic description of the symptoms of smallpox. From their establishment in the AD 900s, Islamic hospitals were sites of medical education as well as healing. The most famous of these were based in Baghdad, Damascus and Cairo, and these contained lecture rooms, pharmacies and libraries. As important as reading and mastering texts in the Islamic tradition was, many students received practical training in hospitals. Some even observed patients at the bedside. Cleanliness was encouraged, and hospitals were often centred around fountains and cooling breezes circulating around the wards.